So if you follow Nintendo news online at all, you can really not make it more than a week or two without seeing some kind of new report confirming the Switch Pro is in production or will be released in the upcoming future. And in today's video, we have to talk about the biggest news that all but confirms that Nintendo is working on this thing and will be releasing it soon. And I want to talk about the details of what we can expect with the Switch Pro and when we can expect it to release. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now guys, today we are covering the Switch Pro once again because we now probably have the biggest, I guess you could say, leak or report rather, that is actually confirming that there are companies that are producing the OLED display for Nintendo's new console, whatever they call it. I personally hope they call it something like a Super Switch. Probably not Switch Pro, maybe Switch Plus. I could see them doing something like that, but regardless of what the name is, the first thing I want to share with you guys is the information that came out that does suggest that the OLED display is absolutely what is being used for a Switch revision. So let's hop through that article real quick. As a result, the price delta between OLED and LCD TVs have further narrowed to $310 from $440. The OLED IT market is burgeoning with the launch of new products. Just last month, new OLED laptops, including the Xiaomi Laptop Pro 15 and the Dell XPS 139310, were unveiled. And in the gaming market, for the first time, Nintendo has selected an OLED screen for the new Switch Pro due to OLED benefits of higher contrast or faster response times. The adoption of OLED continues to expand and is fueling the multi-year OLED capex growth cycle, which we are in. So shout out to Spawnwave for actually sharing that out there on his Twitter, but that is big information coming from Universal Display Corp, which actually is suggesting that Nintendo has already picked OLED. So it's not like it's in the discussion. It's not like this might be for a Switch Pro, like a true next gen Switch 4 or 5 years down the line or whenever that may come out. But we are already seeing Nintendo even commenting from their investor meetings that they've spent more money in research and development ever this year than they have before, and that they are working on a true next gen Switch already. So this is a revision. This is absolutely something that if they have the OLEDs in manufacturing process right now, which we know basically to expect to begin around June, according to a previous report that came out that we did cover here on the channel as well from Bloomberg, we now know that it's for sure, right? This comes up in financial investor meetings. Your information has to be accurate. It can't be rumors or speculation or a he said, she said scenario. So we do know to expect the Switch Pro around the corner. Now, the big thing that continues to pop up online is we are obviously in a very unique time right now because there is a massive chip shortage that is really affecting all industries, the gaming industry, the smartphone industry, even the auto manufacturing industry. Like, everything is facing a shortage right now when it comes to these semiconductors, and it might take another year realistically to get caught up. But the question really does become is, can Nintendo get enough chips to actually, go ahead and literally start a Switch Pro production, which they would have to do, especially if they want to launch it at the end of 2021. And that's what I think is really the big moving piece, because we did see Nintendo say that they may have to adjust their sales forecast of 25 million units based off of if they can secure these components. So it sounds like it's an ongoing situation, and I think any predictions on exactly when the Switch Pro will come out is really just speculation, for the simple fact that even if Nintendo wants to deliver it by the end of 2021, which is definitely what my prediction is pointing towards. I mean, I've been saying that on the channel for months now. If you guys have followed any of my videos along that time frame, that's absolutely what I think Nintendo will do. But this is obviously a fluid situation and there could be a lot of changes. So my personal prediction is if you're out there today and you don't have a Switch and you may want to buy a Switch, I do think you're better off waiting for the Switch Pro at this point. I think it's coming around the corner. I think Nintendo's doing everything they can to launch it by holiday season of 2021, and that's still what I think is most likely. But if it doesn't happen, then we absolutely will see it happen in early 2022, as they're not going to start production on this thing this far in advance unless if they are truly planning on turning around and releasing it soon. Now, in terms of what we can expect this console to perform, well, we already have had reports of Nintendo getting their developers ready for 4K. So that is one of the first major improvements that you can take to the bank, besides the OLED, which is a whole thing in and of itself. I mean, a 7-inch OLED is going to look way better in handheld mode. But besides that, you're getting basically enhanced graphical performance in docked mode. And that is probably going to come out of like some kind of an upscaling, like we've seen NVIDIA and their technology around 4K upscaling. And I do think that DLSS technology will be in this Switch revision. And so that means we can absolutely expect these new games like Pokemon Legends Arceus, like Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and even the, eventual Metroid Prime 4, when that gets released, we will be able to truly play these Nintendo games in 4K, on a TV, which is just outstanding. So it's a time to get excited. I mean, the TV market is booming with 4K televisions right now, so Nintendo doesn't want to miss out on all of that stuff. So I mean, if you are wanting to get into the Switch ecosystem for the first time, or maybe your Switch broke, or maybe you've only had a Switch Lite since it launched and you haven't actually gotten the docked version of the Switch, I would personally recommend you to wait this out. And obviously there's going to be some games that will come out that you probably will want to play before the Switch Pro does get announced, but I still think Nintendo is aiming for the back half of 2021. And if you think you can wait that long, and hopefully they do get the chips that they need to put it into production and actually get it shipped out to consumers, I would recommend you to do that. Now, you always have the option of purchasing a Switch and then just reselling it. You'll take a little bit of a loss, but I do think that this revision is going to be major. Whether or not we'll see exclusive games launched for it remains to be seen. There have been reports that this could be something that Nintendo would look at, but I do think that that'll be further down the line and probably closer to the eventual actual next gen Switch. But there may be third-party games that can only run on the PS5 and Series X, and then maybe those third-party developers want to get in on the audience of the Switch, but this original base model Switch really can't handle it. That's the scenario where I would see some exclusive games. But there's a lot of fans that seem to be worried online about like Breath of the Wild 2 not running on a Switch original if the Pro comes out, and that's not a realistic expectation at all. Nintendo wants to sell that title to as many gamers as possible, and they're not going to overlook their 80 million plus strong install base, which, by the way, by the end of their fiscal year, they're tracking to outsell the Wii, which is their best performing console of all time. So this is a big deal, and they do want to have all the first party Nintendo games on as many consoles as possible. So it's good news as far as I'm concerned. Whether or not we'll see it launch at a price point higher than $299 is another big question mark, because I think we probably will. We probably see it in that $350 to even $399 price point. But you got to keep in mind the original Switch is still going to be probably sold alongside this. So unless if they've used this as a replacement for the Switch and they phase it out, I don't think the Switch goes down to like $250 and then the Switch Lite remains at $199. Like, I think we would have to really see this come in at a new pricing tier. So that will be interesting when Nintendo does reveal that. But I am going to ask you guys in the community poll today around what you are expecting as far as price point and when you think we will get the Nintendo Switch. So make sure you vote in the community poll, and then really, share your thoughts with me about what you think this new information means. I mean, I know a lot of people on the channel, I've asked you before if you think the Switch Pro is in production or not, and it does appear that the majority of you do believe this, and I think it's almost silly not to believe it at this point whenever we actually have investor reports coming out saying that the OLED screens have been chosen for Nintendo's. They even called it the Switch Pro, even though obviously there's probably not an official name yet. But so please leave me your thoughts around what you think we will see Nintendo do with this, what kind of enhancements you think we will see, and then also what games you're excited for to come out alongside of the launch window of the Switch Pro, as I think we can absolutely expect a ton of quality titles to come out. So make sure you leave me your thoughts on that in the comments down below before you leave the video. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below. Hit the like button on your way out on this video if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.